Hey there! Welcome to a new video of a new series. We're gonna have a peek-see in what's it like in Germany? What's life like in Germany? We're gonna go to a little town here in the Oremountains. It's called Geyer. Geyer. But the Germans pronounce it like Geyer. There's a small difference between English, Geyer, and the German pronunciation, Geyer. It's in the R in the end, but that's not important right now. We're on our way. We're gonna show you what the cool town of Geyer in the Oremountains has to offer you. Well, there you have it, folks. This part here is called the Binge. It used to be used for mining, for iron ore, silver, stuff like that. You can still see some small entrances in the mountains. When you look at the horizon, you see a mountain with a little tower on it. You can still see on that mountain there's some white parts going down there. You can go skiing in winter. The season is almost at the end. But the left mountain with the bigger tower, that's on the Czech part. It's over at the Czechian border. And the right mountain, you see, I don't know if you can see it, very tiny buildings. That's the other mountain, that's on the German side. And the right mountain is called the Fichtelberg. That's the Fichtel mountain. The left mountain is called Klinovec. Here's a little sign that tells you something about this part. And if you pause the video, you make a screenshot, and you go into Google Translate, you can change the language to your own language and see what it means, because if I have to translate all of this, it's gonna take another hour. Just in case you're wondering what year this is, I know there used to be a time when this was fashion, but I'm gonna rock this thing again. I'm gonna make this thing popular again. So, all info is here, of course. I'm not really familiar with the whole story, but in short, here's a picture of the mountain, and what they got out of the mountain was copper. They took parts silver and stuff like that, and the top of the rocks here was mostly slate. You know, the stuff you can engrave, slate. Go Google. But when there was some volcanic activity under the earth, it pushed up a lot of rock, and that's granite. That's real hard rock. What got pushed up? That's what you see here. So we're gonna make another one of those things where you can make a screenshot and kick the thing through Google Translate, and then you know more. When you look closely at the stones here, I don't know if it's visible on camera, but you can see all small shiny stuff. That's all small parts of iron in the stones. And that's why they call it the Oremountains, because there was a lot of iron ore in the stones here. You can see it shine a little. So I'm trying to hide my fear of heights, but we're gonna take a walk down there and show you that from up close. The main reason I moved here 11 years ago was I loved mountain biking, and since the Netherlands, where I come from, is completely flat, this was a paradise. And I met a girl, we fell in love, she came from here, I went here a couple of times, and I thought, well, just move here. And I still ride my mountain bike here, although it's an e-mountain bike now because I'm an old fart, but it still gives me a little adrenaline. Second World War, there were lots of bombings also here in the area. And here you can see two craters that remind us of the bombings they did back then in 1933 till 1945 or something. And there's lots of little craters like this in the area here. Back in the day when they took the iron ore out of the mountain, for 1 meter, for about every 3 feet of the rail like this one, to make such a thing would take him about 4 or 5 weeks. To replace a rusted rail like this in current times, it takes the German government about 20 years. It was a joke. Well, the sign says it's an old mine. It's really dangerous. You can die here, so you cannot enter here. So what would you do? Enter. Well, here you can see parts that broke off. That's the danger the sign was talking about. When you get a little rock like this on your head, I guess there's no more dinner. But it's really impressive when you stand here and you look at it. I know you Americans, when you're American and you're watching this, you're used to way bigger stuff. But for us Europeans, this is real impressive. Here's an old entrance from a Sprengstoffkammer. That's where they kept all their dynamite and stuff, where they made the explosions to make the mine deeper. You know what I mean. And they kept it here, and we saw the doors open. That's the first time I see the doors open in the 11 years that I'm living here, so we're gonna have a look-see. I'm gonna make my wok a little broil. How do you make the light brighter? Oh, like that. All right. No. That. Ah, that's the one. All right. Crazy stuff. Watch when a real scary figure comes running to you, huh? Man. Well, that went on longer than I had the nerve to go in there. It got smaller and smaller and steeper, and so maybe next time when I've had a couple of drinks, but not now. There's also lots of birds to be found here because normally it's a quiet place. At the start of the season, lots of tourists come here, but normally it's quite a quiet place. There's the Weinberg-Schnecke, that's that's a snail. And then you have special kinds of lizards. Then there's nice bats. I'm afraid to touch bats since 2020. And then you got the falcon, the tower falcon it's called. And they're not often seen in this area, I guess, but else they wouldn't make a sign about it. I'm walking down here and I look at those two standing rock remains, and when you look at the left one, I'm gonna try to put my finger at it. When you look at the left one, that one, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and I saw that part and I thought that looks a little like the album sleeve of the Division Bell from Pink Floyd. That's yeah, but maybe I still have too much fantasy, like the teacher used to say. There's lots of entrances here, but as you get older, you get more careful. So this is another chance I will pass on. But judging on there's no grass growing anywhere here, you can see it's obviously a footpath. So there are people that went in here. Question is, did they ever come out again? Well, not to go full nature documentary on you, but there's some specific plant life growing here. Well, you know the drill by now. Just pause, make a screenshot, and use Google Translate. Well, funny thing just happened. We were walking across the bend here, and here was the biggest collapse. Lots of workers died here, and we were walking around the bend, and suddenly cool wind hits us. There's no wind. It's relatively moist. Today it's about 20 degrees Celsius, and suddenly a couple of times a really cold wind hits us. Not a hard wind, but you could clearly feel cold wind was hitting you a couple of times. Maybe it's the ghosts of the people who died here. I know you guys in America, when you're American and watching, you had yourself Bob Ross, the famous painter. Well, people like that are living in the Oremountains too, but they don't have paint stuff, they have chainsaws. And then this is what happens. I don't know exactly who they are, but it's someone who lived from 1497 till 1580. So you almost got to be 100 years. So I don't know any of them. I've never seen them in real life. So up there, there's a mountain man, and he's being eaten by a squid, or what's it supposed to be? I don't know. That was one part of the city or the village Geyer. So now we're gonna take you to another part, and we're gonna see if there are still a lot of people there, because today is a national holiday. It's Easter, and On our way here, we saw that at the spot we want to go now, there were masses of people, so making a video is useless then, but we're gonna have a look-see. And so the story continues. We had to wait for a day to continue filming because yesterday there were too many people just around here. So we picked today because although it's not so sunny as yesterday, there's also a lot of less people here. Since it being Easter and stuff, it always attracts masses of people. But we're still in the city or in the village Geyer, and this is the Geyerische Teich, which translates into Lake Geyer. In the summer there's lots of people here swimming and having fun. In the winter it usually freezes, and back in the late 80s even cars were driving across over there, which is now forbidden because Germany is also known as the country where everything that's fun is forbidden. Nah, I'm joking. Well, since Germany doesn't have a hell of a lot of beaches, they build small beaches. And this is one of them. It's hard to imagine, but when the sun comes out in the summer, you can walk over the people here. It's completely rammed full with people. And I'm not a big people guy, so usually I avoid places like this in the summer. If you want to have a nice beach with nice water, Germany is not the place. Well, that about sums up our visit to Geyer. We're gonna leave you with a couple of nice images. We'll hope to see you in the next video. And before I forget, push all the buttons.